Hello and welcome to the channel G17 Collectibles. It's Gordon here and today we're going to be taking a look at Hot Toys Peacemaker figure. Now before we get going, if you do like the video, please do give me a thumbs up. Really gives me some encouragement to keep going, and obviously it does help me share content across the YouTube platform. Okay, so we've removed the Peacemaker and all the things, all the accessories from the box. Let's take a run through as to what Peacemaker actually comes with and some initial thoughts on the figure. I'm going to start with the figure. Initially the figure is really heavy. It came out the box really well. All the plastics come off really dead easy. As I said, I'm surprised the figure is actually really heavy. And a couple of things strike me. The tailoring is absolutely beautiful. The clothing outfit is absolutely gorgeous. We have these rubberized seamless arms, which are really detailed and really painted very well. The detail on the actual costume is fantastic. The gun already is in the holster. I think it's removable, but it's quite tight in there, so I need to work out how to bring that out. But yeah, overall it looks absolutely stunning. The helmet, the bottom half of the portrait looks fantastic. So really impressed with the figure. I'm looking forward to kind of getting into that a little bit more. We also have the Peacemaker sword. So there is the sword there. We have the Peacemaker axe, which is really nice. We have a couple of hands, so it's a couple of gloved hands. I think there's 3 or 4 gloved hands in the box, and obviously ones that are already on the figure. We have another helmet, which is just standard chrome. That's just the standard helmet. I think this one is the Sonic Boom helmet that's on him. We have another faceplate, and that faceplate replaces the one that's already on the figure. Now, coupled with that, you also get the tongue accessory, which is quite nice. And you'll see on the underside of that, there's a little magnet. And that should, yeah, it just magnetizes right into the mouth. So that's really cool. I really like that. It's quite innovative. So, and it looks good. It does look really good. We also have the normal Hot Toys square base stand with the Peacemaker logo on the front and quite a nice top. Don't know if it's going to come off on camera, but there is a bit of a textured surface to this, and eagly as a very kind of almost matte finish raised outline is on there, so that's really nice. We have the standard Hot Toys crotch grabber, and then we have eagly itself. So there's eagly. It's just a hard bit of plastic, really. It's detailed quite nicely. You can see all the various feathers on there. The feet are quite nicely done, and you also get the additional wings. There we go, again just hard plastic, painted relatively quite well, and I believe you just pop these wings off and you can then place the other wings into the slot there. So yeah, I'll do that later on. So overall quite impressive. I probably won't use things like the axe and the sword. I have a pose in mind. The only thing I'm not sure of is if I'm going to use the open mouth with tongue faceplate, or if I'm going to stick with the faceplate that's on it. I don't really know if I'm going to use eagly, but I'll have a play about and try and set them up. The sword, the axe, and this thing, I don't actually know what this is. I'll need to have a look. Oh, it's a silencer. Yeah, that's a silencer for the gun. Never showed you that. It's just a nice wee bit of painted plastic there. So let me just move all the accessories out of the way. We'll go through the figure, do some articulation, some motion, and then yeah, it's just about trying to get Peacemaker in the final pose. Okay, so the figure itself, articulation wise, it's not too bad. As I said, it's a very heavy figure, so the leg and hip joints are ratcheted. You have a bend on this knee, which I don't believe is a double bend, but you are getting almost just past 90 degrees on there. The ankle does articulate in all directions. It's not a split cut boot, but you have got a bit of a gap at the top of the boot to kind of get that boot in different positions, so that's not too bad. The arms, you're getting the good shoulder joint here. You are getting it up quite high, you can see that there. Just need to take care because I think that rubber arm over time might break down. Elbow wise, it's nice and ratcheted and it's almost going beyond the 90 degrees. You can see that it looks like a double bend, so that's great. Wrist pegs, as you would expect, you're getting a very limited range of motion from there as a normal wrist peg. You do have the glove, which is split into two, so the glove and the actual forearm gauntlet are two separate pieces. From an ab crunch perspective, you know, you're getting a decent range of crunch in there, so good for posing ability. And close up, you know, let's just have a look at Peacemaker. You can see there that the face, the tailoring, you know, it's quite nice. It really is quite nice. All the stitching's lovely. The materials, the textures are really nice. It's very accurate from what I can recall. The belt has this kind of rubberized textured feel on the rear. The shirt fits very well. The pants, the trousers are fitting very well as well. Yeah, and overall, I think it's a top-notch figure. I'm really impressed with this. Now you can change out, as I said, you can change out the helmet and you can change out the faceplate. You literally just pull the helmet off, and if we bring in the other helmet, that simply clips onto the back and it is magnetised, and then you place the top of the other helmet on. So really straightforward and really easy to change the helmets about. Faceplate wise, you can pull the bottom of this faceplate off. Very easy to do. It's a kind of magnetic fit, so that comes off quite easily. And if I can get this other one out of the box, that will just click in there, and then we can put helmet back on. Easy as that. And that does not look bad at all. That is really quite nice. So quite an innovative figure with the tongue, the open mouth, the changing in helmets. I'm really impressed. It's really quite a heavy figure, big chunky figure. Tall, very broad, quite accurate. It's obviously a new body they've had to design for Peacemaker, especially with these rubberized arms. You can see there, you know, there's clearly some sort of underskeleton in there, which is very thin, but the most of that is squashable kind of rubber to imitate skin. And you can see there's veins and skin texture, and it's painted really well. So yeah, overall, from a quick review perspective, I am super impressed with this. It is really nice. It's very well done, so bravo Hot Toys. I'm going to now sit and play around and get, I use a lot of museum poses, so I don't imagine this one will be any different. I'm going to sit and play around, try and get the pose that I want, find out whether I'm going to use this helmet, or this one, or this faceplate, or this faceplate. And yeah, when I come back, you'll see what I've achieved. Okay, so here's a quick update for you. This Peacemaker's gun came inside this holster. And at first it seemed to be that you could just pull it out. It's not that easy. They've actually designed it so this shouldn't technically be removable. What's happened here is that through the trigger guard, when in the holster, they've actually moulded, I don't know if you can see that well enough, but they've actually put a moulded piece of the holster plastic right across the trigger guard so that the gun can't actually be removed. Now that's really odd, but I think it's got something to do with the licensing for DC figures, and that DC did not want weapons to be, you know, posable and usable in figures, which seems like a bizarre decision, but it is what it is. So the way to do that is you have to almost bring a knife in and cut one side of this blue plastic sprue. Pull the gun out, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to remove that completely so that it's not something that's, it's not designed to be there. So I'm going to take it off. But yeah, that's how you bring it out. You bring your knife down, cut the little sprue, push it from the bottom, pop the gun out, and then we'll just tidy that up by cutting that out. But yeah, interesting choice, that one. Okay, so here is where I'm at with potentially the final pose. Quite a fun and simple figure. It wasn't that complex. There's not too many things to do or accessories to try and use. It literally took me 5 minutes playing around, putting a new hand on, pulling that gun out, changing the helmet, the faceplate, and finding a pose that I liked. And here it is. So I'm using what I believe is a Sonic Boom helmet. I think the colour on that gives it a bit more detail. I'm using the bottom faceplate, open mouth with the tongue. I've literally got Peacemaker or John Cena kind of posing. I just think it's a good pose for Peacemaker. You know, he's cheeky, he's fun, he's a bit ballsy, blasé. I just think it's a pretty stellar option, having that tongue. So I can see why Hot Toys included it, because it just suits the character. Took the gun out, put the gun in the right hand. I have got Eagly out. I'll be honest with you, I think Eagly is one of these things that should go with Peacemaker. It is his best friend in the whole world, after all. But it's a difficult wee thing to know where to put. So I've got him standing obviously in front of Peacemaker. There's not enough room on the actual base. Well, maybe there is, to kind of put him on there. His claws are kind of off the edge of, you know, that could maybe try and pose Peacemaker a little bit better on the stand. But that crotch grabber's really pushing him quite forward. So yeah, difficult to put on there. But when you do that, yeah, when you do that, I just think the attention is drawn away from the figure and is more on Eagly. And Eagly is just a plastic. I mean, it's almost like a plastic kid's toy. You can articulate the head. So that's something I noticed, is you can pull the head left, right, up, down. It seems to be a wee ball joint there. But taking Eagly away, I think I actually prefer the figure without Eagly. I like seeing the base, I like seeing the boots. I tried it with Eagly, just with his normal wings and putting them on the corner, but then it was kind of, I didn't really like it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go this with my pose. I'm going to get him in the display cabinet. I've got one space, I think, in the cabinets right now. I'm wondering who's going to go best alongside. So I'll play about with that and I'll show you Peacemaker in the cabinets. Okay, so as you can see, I'm seriously struggling for space in the cabinets now. I can potentially double up a couple of figures, like I can bring Bo-Katan up to stand alongside Ahsoka. I do have a space next to Billy Butcher from The Boys. And I could reorganise some things, let's be honest. And Christ knows where the future warrior, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator's going to go, as well as Gandalf, because I really want Gandalf in a kind of his own display cube, especially because I've also got Aragorn coming at some point within the next year or so, whenever InArt release it. So I think Gandalf and Aragorn are going to have to go in a display cube. So yeah, space-wise, I am struggling. I did speak to the good lady and asked if I could just put a couple more cabinets over on the right there. And I think I might just get away with it. So the collection might be expanding further into the kitchen, but we'll see. Anyway, right, so here's where I've put Peacemaker. I thought the colours, it was an available space. Colours do go rather well with Miles, although it's two completely different characters from two completely different films. So I might move this around. But what I didn't appreciate was just how tall this figure actually was. And okay, Miles is a very small figure. It's a teenage body, obviously, or a kind of pre-teenage body. So it is a very, very small figure. And I do have him kind of scrunched up. If you look at the size of somebody like Billy Butcher to the right, if that scale is to be, you know, if both them figures are in scale, then John Cena is a lot taller, and he obviously is in real life. But yeah, scale-wise, I wasn't prepared for how tall Peacemaker actually was. You can see, if you look at some of the shelves, you can see the, let's try and get that right. There's a good inch or two above most of the figures. This one is almost touching the top of the shelf, so it's a big, tall, chunky figure. But I'm really, really happy with it. Really happy with Peacemaker. I think it's a terrific figure. Between that and Miles, the last couple of figures that I've got, I am blown away by the quality and overall standard of Hot Toys. I'm really, really impressed. I genuinely am really impressed. There's a lot of great figures out there, but the figures seem to be getting better and better and better. So I'm really, really glad that I picked Peacemaker up. Really glad with the final pose. He probably won't continue to live there. I'll maybe just leave him there for the time being. I do like Miles having his own space. I think it looks cracking having his own space. But for the time being, that's where he's landed. So yeah, thanks very much for checking the video out. Really, really appreciate it. Again, please do give me a thumbs up. It just gives me the encouragement to keep doing content, etc. And also helps me to share my content across YouTube. So yeah, really appreciate a thumbs up. And, you know, if you're interested in the channel and you like what I'm doing and you can understand my Scottish accent, you know, subscribe, put the wee notification bell on. There's more videos coming up. Like I said, I've got a few things happening this week. And if you want to see a tour of all the 1/6 in the collection, I'll be doing that in the next couple of weeks as well. So, yeah, thanks for checking it out. And until next time, take care.